Hey boys, welcome back to the channel where we are going to be going through the round one of the NRL season. I'm going to be going through each game and giving my opinions, my thoughts. I'll probably just have some random Rugby League Live 4 gameplay in the back. Unfortunately, can't use like highlights of games. I'll get. I wish I could. I wish I could just use like some highlights for the games, but no, the channel would probably get copyright striked, and that's not really what I want. So there'll just be some random gameplay. But yeah, I'll go through each game, and we can see how well I did with my tips. And yeah, we didn't have a great week, that's for sure. There was quite a few upsets, I would say. First off, the Panthers v the Seagulls. So we got this one wrong. I did tip the Seagulls. I didn't. I mean, you can go back and watch the first preview video. I said that the Panthers would stand up without Cleary, but I just didn't expect them to score so many points. Like, the Seagulls' defense. I mean, the Panthers were very good, don't get me wrong, but the Seagulls were pretty poor. They were not good at all, and there was one big issue I find with a couple of big issues actually with the Seagulls this year. But yeah, the Panthers were very, very solid. Going through their team quickly, I mean, Dylan Edwards, he sort of, he just has these freakish games at times where he runs for well over 300 meters and just is, yeah, just everywhere. He never really, I don't know, he's a weird fullback, and the commentators talked about it a little bit as well, that he's very much not a ball-playing fullback. He's more just, yeah, like more of an old school, just support playing bullback, just support playing fullback, which it does work well with the Panthers team because of Isaiah Yeo. They don't need, and I'm pretty much saying what they said, but it is true. When I was watching it, I was thinking the exact same thing, that he doesn't really, like, he does obviously sweep around for plays, but they don't really need him to be that ball player. He can just sort of, you know, use most of his energy bobbing around, you know, through the ruck. So yeah, he had a great game. Isaac Tago and Stephen Crichton were very, very strong. They dominated. They absolutely decimated the opposition centre pairing of Parker and Harper. Oh god, it's good to see Harper getting destroyed. I cannot stand him. I cannot stand Morgan Harper. He is absolute trash, but it's Tago and Crichton were very strong. Staines and Toto, honestly, especially Toto, didn't really see too much footy. He did his customary, you know, a lot of early carries and stuff, but wasn't too dominant. But he'll work into the season. Sean O'Sullivan, the unsung hero, coming in and playing sensationally. I mean, I think most people do agree that he is definitely NRL standard quality, and he just hasn't found a spot in a team. I mean, I can look at some teams and say they could use a halfback, but yeah, at the Panthers, he's going to get fairly few games, but whenever he plays, he does a great job. The forward pack for the Panthers, just, yeah, they destroyed the Seagulls. Pretty much all their forwards were very strong. Kickout played, 50 odd minutes, and just every time he touched it, he was just unstoppable. Yo, like I said, he was probably best on ground, I would say. Just, yeah, very, very good. And then the bench was solid as well. So the Seagulls, I think the biggest problem with the Seagulls is that their forward pack is just not that strong anymore. Like, I mean, on paper, it's pretty good. Like, you look at Tapau, Olakau'atu, Jake Trbojevic. I mean, Olakau'atu I thought was pretty good comparatively. Ethan Bullimore I thought was also pretty good in the back row. He's definitely not like a natural back rower. He is he is more of a middle forward. So I think he got found out a couple of times, but I thought he was pretty good. I think he's a great, he's going to be a very good forward going through. But yeah, I mean, Marty Tapau, he's still good. Don't get me wrong, but he's definitely, the age is starting to catch up, and he's not what he used to. He doesn't really break tackles. He doesn't offload. Like, that was his biggest thing, was the offload, but it just doesn't happen anymore. And then Jake Trbojevic, like, I mean, again, he's solid enough, but yeah, I think there's just something lacking with Jake now. I think a lot of teams have that good, they have a good lock that can pass the footy, and that's sort of what he's known for. Obviously defensive as well, but he just lacks a little bit of spark around the ruck. Someone like a Yo or Cameron Murray, and just not quite what it used to be. And yeah, their forward pack is just weak. I mean, you look at a few years ago when they had like Curtis Sirenen to power at his prime, Adam Fanor-Blake, Jake Trbojevic back then. They had arguably the best pack in the comp, but I think a few of these guys getting a bit older, it just looked pretty weak comparatively. I mean, again, the Panthers have a very strong pack, but yeah, so interesting. And then the center pairing is probably the other biggest issue. Parker and Harper, I don't know. I mean, I like Parker. I think he gives his all every time, but just lacks a little bit. Just lacks a little bit out wide and through the middle. They just got found out. But on the back of Tom Trbojevic and Foran and Cherry Evans. And also, the other issue is Lachlan Croker. Just they need a dummy half. Like, I mean, he did a good job last year, but yeah. So the Seagulls have some issues, I think. So yeah, we'll move on. I'm not. I can't ramble on about one game for too long, even though I took forever with that game. I'll try to speed it up a little bit. Otherwise, we'll be here forever, dude. So the Raiders Sharks. I didn't get to watch I didn't actually watch pretty much any of this game. I saw some highlights, so I can't talk about this game too much. I tipped the Sharks, and I mean, I was sort of watching the live scoring. Obviously, the Raiders started out very strongly. They were up early, and then the Sharks came back at them, and then the Raiders just snuck away with the win with the Hudson Young try at the end. So yeah, from all reports, I mean, Tomoko, very strong. The young fella Brad Schneider looked very composed, very good. Jack Wyden was excellent. Their forward pack was from all reports very, very good as well. They have a good forward pack. I mean, the Raiders, they just have, they got the size, they got the strength. They just got a bit about them. Haru and Naira, Hudson Young, bit of footwork, some offloading ability, and then the big boys of Papali'i, Tarpany also have footwork. Like, it's a good forward pack. And then the Sharkies, Nico Hines, I don't know, it's a bit mixed what people think of Hines. So I don't really know how to gauge how he performed, because again, I didn't really see much of this. I didn't see any of the game, actually, unfortunately. But yeah, Matt Moylan, probably, it's a shame that Braden Trindle is out, because I think Trindle would be a much better halves pairing for Nico Hines. But yeah, the Raiders get the win up here. Obviously a pretty tight game, and yeah, fairly back and forth. So yeah, not too much else to say about that one. Then we move on to the Broncos v Rabbitohs. So the Broncos, oh baby. So I tipped the Broncos. My head was saying Rabbits, but my heart said the Broncos, and I got this one up. So the Broncos. I mean, again, you look on paper and it's a good team. Like, obviously with no Adam Reynolds, that was a big shame. But Billy Walters looked very good. Albert Kelly looked good as well. Personally, I think they're going to go with Kelly at 5'8", and then Billy Walters is sort of your ideal number 14. But I could see them sticking with Walters at 5'8", and maybe Kelly goes to 14. I think both could work. Both could work pretty well. And then, yeah, Katoni Staggs back from not playing much footy. He was obviously, he looked good, but, a little bit rusty. Obviously, the cramp got to him. His calves are just too damn big. He always cramps up, dude. his freaking calves. Selwyn Cobbo, oh, man. I mean, he's a freakish talent. Again, missed a couple opportunities, but, yeah, you can just see what... just when he gets the ball, I mean, he's one of those guys, just have something special about them. And then the forward pack of, I mean, Payne Haas and Carrigan was so good to start the game. I mean, they were just carrying the Broncos forward pack. I mean, I actually thought Keenan Palisea was also very good to start. Kurt Capel coming as captain. I think a lot of people sort of underrated how good he would be, and yeah, I think he took it personally coming to the Bronx, you know, as the captain now without Reynolds. He took it personally, and he played sensationally. So the forward pack was very strong. And yeah, they just defended well. I mean, again, the Rabbitohs were not that good, but the Broncos, everything the Rabbits threw at them, they turned away. So I was very impressed with the Bronx. And they had, you know, they missed a couple of chances to score as well. So I think there's good signs. There's good signs for the Bronx going forward. Obviously, Rabbits, no Mitchell, you know, that's a big loss. And then also missing Blake Taff is also a big loss. Like, don't get me wrong, Alex Johnson's a good player, and arguably one of the best wingers in the comp, maybe. I don't know. It's probably he scores a lot of tries, but he probably doesn't do like the work of some other wingers. But he's still a very good winger. But he's not a fullback. Like, he's not a fullback, and that also meant that Jackson Paulo moved into the centers. Or was he already going to play in the centers? Maybe he was, which I don't. He is not a center at all. I mean, out wide, him and Mansour's defense was pretty bad. Tane Milne, yeah, their edge defense and just backline defense. The Broncos, I think, could have scored some more points on them, but just couldn't finish it off. But yeah, just defensively, without Taff and Mitchell, it really sort of screwed up their backline. Cody Walker didn't have a great night. didn't have a very good night at all. Lockie Ilias, I mean, I thought he tried pretty hard. In a game that just didn't really suit, but I think there's good signs. I saw a lot of criticism for him, but I think he can take over that halfback spot. He's not going to be an Adam Reynolds for them, but I think he can do the job. I thought Cook was pretty solid. Jai Arrow, I thought, was probably their best forward for the game. I thought he was sensational. But yeah, the rest of the forward pack, I mean, Murray coming back from a serious injury didn't quite have the impact of his usual self. And then, yeah, the Broncos just played a lot better. I mean, again, it was a close game, but I did think the Broncos deserved to win that game, and I think they played pretty darn well. So, moving on to the Roosters Knights. Oh man, so the Roosters down 20 points to 6. Obviously, I got this one wrong. Again, I said that the Knights, I was very impressed in the trials, which again, the trials are, you know, whatever, but I was impressed with Clifford and Clunes-Haas pairing. And I mean, I like their forward pack overall, and I think they got some decent backs to go with it. Even in the Dane Gagai signing, I like quite a lot as well. He cops a lot of flack from people, but Gagai is a very good player. He's just because he's played some incredible football at Origin doesn't mean he doesn't play well at NRL level. I sometimes get a little bit, I lose my mind a little bit, but that's that's another thing altogether. But yeah, the Roosters just looked very, I don't even know, they just didn't click at all. Like, Walker and Keary just didn't work well together. You know, it could have been a different story. Like, if that try didn't get disallowed early on, you never know. Maybe the Roosters run away with it, the Knights' heads go down, but it got disallowed, and the Knights were just too good. The Knights were just way too good. Forward pack was good. I like Kurt Mann at lock. You know, just that ball playing lock. I think it is the trendy thing to do, but I do think it is the right thing to do in the NRL nowadays. And this is sort of the Jake Trbojevic issue, I think. I think Jake should maybe go to prop. And I mean, again, like, prop or lock, there's not too much difference, but I think just having a little bit more foot speed and just a little bit extra at lock is pretty important. You know, Jake could still play that ball playing front rower, but just having that little extra, you know, Victor Radley, you know, I think a big part of the Roosters' falling away was the loss of Radley. Again, like without him there, they lose a lot of their structure and just go forward. So when he didn't come back on, they just miss that player. They really need Victor Radley to be fit and firing this year to really push, I think. They're still an excellent team, and there's no way that they dish up another performance like this next week, but they need Victor Radley. 100% they need Radley to be firing. Their forward pack is starting to, they got some good young kids coming through. Lindsay Collins, obviously, Fletcher Baker, Tupanua. But, a couple of the old heads are really starting to fall off. I mean, Hargraves, what can you say? I've never liked Hargraves, but the last couple of years, I actually think Hargraves has been pretty ordinary and pretty useless. But Takiaho also hasn't been at his best. A lot of injuries, just fatigue, So a couple of the older guys not really picking it up, and the young guys, whilst being good, I just don't think have quite come on as some other players. So yeah, the Roosters have a little bit to work on, quite a bit, I would say. And then the Knights were excellent. Their forward pack was strong. The halves worked well together, and then the outside backs did a very good job defensively and attacking wise. So not much else to be said about that one. Interesting game, that is for sure. Then we move on to the Warriors v Dragons. So I got this one right. I tipped the Dragons, and again a fairly weird game overall. The Dragons, I think were pretty deserving winners, and I don't know. I like their team on paper, and it's sort of been the Dragons' way for the last couple of years that they have a really strong team on paper. They start the season well, and then they sort of just fade off. But I'm tipping the Dragons to be a bit of a smoky this year. Not to be a premiership team, but I think they're going to make the top 8. Tyrell Sloan, he is a very good, excellent fullback. Does a lot of good things. Moses Sully and Zach Lomax, that is a dynamic and powerful center pairing. That's going to cause a lot of issue for some teams. And honestly, the Sully loss to the Seagulls, who we were talking about before, is probably going to hurt them more than they thought, because, like I was saying, they just lack a bit out there. And Sully, I mean, probably didn't have one of his most barnstorming games, but he has what it takes to really open a game up. But Lomax, he's definitely, if he's fit and he plays the full year, he's top, he's the best center in the comp. Him and, Manu and Olam, they're the pinnacles of the center. And I mean, Zach Lomax, he's got the strength, he's got the defense, he's got all the skills. I mean, probably just talent-wise, he is the best center. Him and Manu, they're fairly similar, honestly. Fairly similar type players. Then, Ben Hunt, I don't know, Hunt, I don't know what to say about Hunt's game. He was, I don't know, he was okay. Like, again, he tried hard, but probably not one of his best games, but they still won. But yeah, not at his absolute best. And then the forward pack, Jack Bird, I thought was pretty good. Jack DeBellin was good. Again, just provides that good go forward at lock. The forward pack was pretty strong overall. Moses Mbai was excellent off the bench, and again, I think he cops a lot of unfair criticism, but he's an excellent player, and I think a great pickup for the Dragons. Just such a good number 14. He can easily start at fullback or in the halves or even in center, but as a 14, just doesn't get too much better than a Moses Mbai, in my opinion. Then on the Warriors, I thought Johnson was pretty good. Unfortunately, he is going to be out for a few weeks now with another injury, so that's very disappointing news. I was very keen to see Johnson get back to the Warriors and hopefully have a good year. Harris Tavita at fullback. I mean, I like Harris Tavita a lot, but they really need Reece Walsh back at fullback. Harris Tavita he's just not a fullback. Let's be honest. And yeah, the rest of the team, I thought Curran was excellent. Probably, yeah, I would say he was the best forward pretty easily. I don't know, there's just, again, that lock. Teams that have a excellent lock, they're sort of, they're the benchmark, I guess, a little bit. Although the Warriors, what am I saying? The Warriors were terrible, and Curran is a very good lock. So it doesn't mean you're gonna win, but it does go to show that having a good lock is nice. It is nice. I mean, they got a good forward pack, but yeah, the Dragons just a little bit better. It wasn't a blowout, but yeah, just that little bit better. Moving on, West Tigers v Storm. So this game, oh man, some terrible news. Storm, obviously, Christian Welch doing his Achilles, just really terrible news for Welch. He's had quite a few long-term injuries, and it's always a shame because he's such a good guy, he's such a good player. Huge loss for the Storm. George Jennings doing his ACL, it was, yeah, again, that was sort of, as soon as you saw that, you're like, that, yeah, he's gone. He's absolutely gone with that one. And then the cheese, Brandon Smith breaking his hand in like the first minute. Oh, again, like, what is doing? So, again, an interesting game because I thought the Tigers were pretty good. That they led at parts of this game. They led at halftime, but the Hughes, I mean, again, that man, Jerome Hughes, the most underrated player in the comp, just stood up when the pressure was on with so many players missing, so many players injured. Jerome Hughes just steers the ship, plays just out of his skin to get the win for the Storm. Jerome Hughes, what a player he is. Ryan Pappenhausen was also pretty solid, I would say. And yeah, just, the rest of the Storm boys just did their job. The Tigers, and that's what I'm saying, like, it's a weird one because the Tigers were good, but they still couldn't beat a Storm team without Munster and Harry Grant to start with, and also Jesse Bromwich, and then they lost Brandon Smith in the opening minutes. They lost George Jennings and they lost Christian Welch. So I don't really know what to make about the performance of the Tigers. I think they'll trouble some teams. Like they got a good forward pack on in my opinion. Tuolangi was really good. It looked like he did pick up an injury, which is hopefully nothing too serious. Luciane didn't really see too much footy, but they've got an attacking style team, and I think they can upset some teams, but they'll need to, I don't know. The Brooks and Hastings combo, I don't know what to make of it. Moving on to the Eels Titans, so I'm not. What do I even say about this game? It was an entertaining game. For sure. I thought Campbell was very good. I thought Sammy was excellent. Marju was excellent. I don't know what happened to Marju. He must have got injured in the second half. I didn't hear them say anything. I might have missed it, but obviously he did because it moved. What did they even do? I can't even remember. But yeah, Marju wasn't there, and we really missed him. He's such a dude. I don't know how. It's sort of the curse of the Titans having so many outside backs because you can't drop Thompson. Obviously, Thompson was injured. That's why Marju came in. But you can't really drop Thompson or Semi. But Marju is too good not to be playing. Like, he's so good. He's like To'o. He's just as good as To'o, in my opinion. If he was playing at the Panthers on To'o's wing, he'd be as good. He'd be a cold hero as well. So, yeah, too good not to be playing, but I don't know how you fit him in. The forward pack was good. Dave Fafita was disappointing. Just didn't really get involved as much as he should. I mean, I know it's a weird one because they want him to get, and it's other players as well. Like, they want to give them good footy. They don't just want to give them the ball, when they've got nothing on. But I sometimes am like, no, just do that. Just give him the footy. Just give him some early footy when nothing's doing, and just let him do something. Just not he probably touched it like three times in the first half. Like, you just got to give him the footy. Just give him the ball and let him run. Like, it's just a waste. Like, he's still getting tired by making tackles, but he's just not providing anything in attack when you don't give him the damn football. So, yeah, I don't know. Just get him involved, for God's sake. And then on the flip side, the Eels, I thought the forward packs were... I thought they were pretty even, honestly. It was a good battle between the middles. Dylan Brown and Moses looked really good in the first half. When Sean Russell went off and Dylan Brown... I can't... I cannot believe Jake Arthur got a bench spot, and I cannot believe it worked, I guess, in a way, because when Russell went off, Dylan Brown went into the centres and Jake Arthur went into 5'8", which worked in the sense of filling the positions, but it didn't work at all because Jake Arthur is absolute trash. And I feel like that's pretty evident by the fact that the Eels had all the football in the second half and could not score a try to save their lives. Like, they didn't even look like they were going to score a try. They only got 3 penalty goals while Arthur was out there. Dylan Brown in the centres, just, I don't get it. I just, why would you not just put Sean Lane in the centres? Ryan Madison could play in the centre. Even Isaiah Papali'i could play in the centre, and just leave Dylan Brown and Moses in the halves. Like, what? I know he's your son, Brad Arthur, but he's just not NRL standard. Like, I don't understand. Yeah, the Eels went to absolute water after that shuffle, and then the Titans, unfortunately, like I said, I'll be straight up. The Titans were robbed. Like, the Eels got so many calls go their way. The Titans couldn't get the footy at all in that second half. I thought they defended pretty well. They kept in the game, but yeah, they just won't. Honestly, they just won't. I don't like to usually be that upfront with or that over the top with the team getting bad calls. I can get upset in the moment, but usually after the fact, I'm like, nah, you know what? There was bad calls for both sides, and honestly, I am like that. It's very rare that I genuinely feel like a team was just flat out robbed, but the Titans were robbed. Like, there's no two ways about it. It was a very frustrating second half to watch. I did not enjoy the second half at all. I thought the Titans, like I said, I was happy with the Titans' defensive effort in the second half with all that defense they had to do. But yeah, it was a frustrating game, honestly. The first half was great. It was a lot of points, end-to-end type action. And I would say both teams need to work on their defense if they're going to challenge the top teams. Even the Eels are they're a contender. But to leak so many points in the first half was probably pretty worrying for them. But yeah, the Titans, they have a very young and exciting team. And, I said in the preview that they had an exciting and young team. I thought there'd be some decent points in this game, and we weren't disappointed. And then, oh my God, we're finishing off with this game. This game was legitimately one of the worst games of football I have ever witnessed. Like, I was not going to finish this game, but I thought I was rewarded with a great try, or a match-winning try to Fido after Cohen has got the bat down. But I guess just the way how terrible the game was, Fido had to be marginally offside to ruin what would have been a great, finish at the end of the game. But honestly, both of these teams didn't deserve to win this one. I've seen so many people talk up the Dogs after this win, acting like, yeah, they're changed, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Did you even did you watch the game? These two teams were so bad. It was an absolute drag. And it's not so much the low scoring, because again, with stuff like that, defensively it can be exciting, and some aggression and just overall some enthusiasm. But I just, this game was just rubbish. The Cowboys, and again, like, the Cowboys had chances to win, but like I said in the preview, Tom Dearden and Townsend, it is just like, let's be frank, Todd Payton should not be an NRL coach if he thinks Drinkwater shouldn't be the number 6 and Tamalolo shouldn't be the 13. Like, just resign, please. For the sake of Townsville, for the sake of the Cowboys, just hang up the coaching whistle and piss off Payton, because you're absolute. You're a fool. You're a fool. So he's turned Tamalolo into just a plodding front rower. I don't understand. And I know arguments could be said that, well, Tamalolo, he gets, the game time he gets, he could still play better. And I agree, but there's something else going on. Like, let's be honest, Tamalolo would want to play 13. He's a one in a generation type player. He was the best 13 for years. All of a sudden, Payne comes in. He reduces his minutes for one. He sort of takes away his ball running. Like, the whole game plan changed for some reason when it wasn't broken. There is absolutely no way that Tamalolo isn't feeling just pissed off. Honestly, I would imagine there are some bad things going on behind the scenes in terms of the relationships. I would imagine. I don't know for sure, but it just stinks of Todd Payne just acting like he is, the man in charge, so he's going to do it his way when it clearly doesn't work. But yeah, I could ramble about that all day. But yeah, Tamalolo has to go back to 13. Drinkwater has to come back into the team for the Cowboys to get any points. And other than that, I actually thought Peter Hiku was actually pretty okay. I thought he looked dangerous. Valentine Holmes, I thought it was okay as well. Fido was okay. And then the Dogs, I mean, Adokar was good. Who else? I don't know. The forward packs for both teams I thought were good. I thought Nanai was clearly the best forward. He was very, very solid. But yeah, that's all that needs to be said about this game. The Dogs got the 2 points. They should be pretty happy about that. The Cowboys, both the teams need a lot to work on. But yeah, that's the round 1 wrap up. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the first round. Any sort of surprises or whatnot. Anything you disagree with, let me know. But yeah, make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.